Hi, and welcome back to another episode of New Old and Songs Untold. I'm your host Nick, joined with my co-host Anna. How are you doing today?
I'm good. We're on our 50th episode.
50th episode, yes.
Very crazy.
Yes, and we're doing Elvis, as I believe we said.
Yep.
In the past, so this is definitely an episode looking forward to.
Yeah, he's a big one. There's like a couple big artists that I feel like everybody knows and loves, so I'm really excited for this episode.
Well, before we dive into our list, do you want to tell us a little bit about Elvis?
Yeah. So obviously he's one of the most significant cultural icons of the 20th century. He was very transformative in the progression of rock and roll. He was born in Mississippi, which I did not know, but then relocated to Memphis, obviously. So he, in the beginning of his career, he had a lot of singles.
Yeah.
His first single was Heartbreak Hotel in 1956, which kind of popularized him as the leading figure of rock and roll, and kind of the sound of rock and roll. In November 1956, he made his film debut with Love Me Tender, which was a whole basically movie around his music. And then he was drafted into military service in 1958, basically when he was getting really popular, which is crazy to think about nowadays. And he so he kind of, after he got back, he had to relaunch his career. He did a bunch of Hollywood films. He did soundtrack albums. He and then in 1968 he had a really long break, but from live performances, and he returned to the stage and made an extended stay in Las Vegas, which he's become really popular for his residency there. Apparently he's the first concert by a solo artist to be broadcast around the world.
That's pretty
in
crazy.
His Aloha from Hawaii in 1973, which I did not know. And then, obviously he changed the face of music with his style and his kind of rockabilly blues kind of style. He died in 1977, which is a lot later than I thought he died.
Yeah.
For some reason I always thought he died in the 60s, but yeah.
Younger? No.
Well, he died at age 42, and he basically, his rise from poverty to significant fame was really epitomized the American dream, and he was one of the best-selling solo music artists of all time. He has so many he has 3 Grammy Awards. He has the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, which he got at 36 years old, which is crazy. He's obviously in a bunch of music hall of fames. He holds several records for the most RIAA certified gold and platinum albums. The most albums that charted on Billboard Billboard charts 200.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the most #1 albums by a solo artist.
Wow.
Yeah, insane. I have a few fun facts about him, because
right.
he just has some weird. I feel like everyone kind of knows the story of Elvis, but he has just the randomest little facts. So apparently he was a twin.
Okay, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, his twin Jesse was stillborn, but he was really influenced that he had a twin that he basically never knew. His hair was actually brown, which he dyed it black.
Yeah.
Because it's his signature slicked back hair black color, but it's brown, which is crazy. And the weirdest thing I found was that so his daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, she was married to Michael Jackson for a little bit, and then she's married to Nicolas Cage. And Nicolas Cage is apparently the only person out of the Presley family to have ever seen Elvis's bedroom in Graceland. Which I was like, what?
That's random.
So obviously it's a secret thing,
Yeah.
no one just gets to waltz in there. But I thought that was the most random thing. Out of all the people, Nicolas Cage. But yeah, we can get into our top 10. I guess, what was your thoughts going into Elvis Presley?
I wasn't quite sure. I'm not the biggest Elvis fan. I like a lot of it. I like his music. I haven't listened to a lot of it, I suppose. So yeah. I was more curious.
I absolutely love Elvis.
Yeah,
I haven't listened to like a wide variety of his music, mainly just like one greatest hits album I've listened to like a million times. For a while I did not see the appeal of him because I was just like, I don't know, but like when you think about him in context, you can see totally like how he changed music and has a very signature sound and obviously was extremely successful.
And like how genre, like he wasn't like boiled down to one necessarily genre, so it's like that was some of the stuff I found that I really liked, the difference of music. You can go from one song to the next. So all right, let's get into the list because I got Spotify list this week.
All right,
so we'll start with number 10 on Spotify is You're the Devil in Disguise with 6 million plays. There was a weird drop off with or sorry, it's supposed to be 60 million. I did not type that wrong. So I thought there'd be more plays on Spotify.
Well, and I mean, Spotify is like more of a young person kind of app, and that makes sense to me why he wouldn't be as
You're
big.
the Devil in Disguise is number 10 for Spotify. What is your number 10?
My number 10 is Jailhouse Rock. So this was written by Jerry Leiber and Mike Stoller. Elvis basically didn't write any of his songs.
No.
So you're going to hear a lot of random names that you probably have never heard of. But these people actually also wrote the song Hound Dog, which is another popular Elvis song. But this song was featured in the Elvis movie of the same name, which he did that a lot. He would have like a movie that was coming out, and then he would have the soundtrack. He would make the soundtrack for it. And they would basically just change the title of the movie to whatever song was the single.
Oh, gotcha.
Because that happened with Love Me Tender, too.
Yeah.
But in the movie, he basically plays a wrongly accused convict who becomes like a star, rock and roll star when he gets out.
Naturally.
Never seen it, but sounds riveting. So this song was number 1 on the U.S. charts for like 7 weeks. It has one of the most memorable intros of all time, I feel like, with like the 2 guitar chords and then like the drums, and that goes throughout the whole song, but just when it's in the intro, it's so iconic. And I feel like this has like this song has the classic mix between like rock and roll and blues that he kind of became famous for, kind of like melding those 2 genres together. And it's so catchy. It's just like a really danceable rhythm, and and this is an early song from him that I really liked. I liked a lot of his later stuff more, I think, but and I put this at number 10. I feel like that's a pretty popular song for number 10, so I'm interested to see where you have it.
I have it higher.
Yeah, I figured you would. But that is Jailhouse Rock for my number 10.
All right, my number 10 is a song that I probably should put higher on my list, but it's called it's Love Me. I don't know if you've heard. I don't know. I didn't know this song before. Yeah, so it came out in 1956. So it's on his like Elvis album now, but all his stuff came out as
most of his stuff also came out as singles. So we might not list an album just because there wasn't one.
Yeah, I'll just say. So I'll just do what I got it from on Spotify. So if people want to go find it, it's easier. So the 1956 Elvis, self-titled Elvis album. The song itself, Love Me, is a kind of a parody of country and western music, which is, if you listen to this podcast long enough, you know my love for western music. It was initially recorded by an R&B duo, Willie and Ruth, in 1954. So
he does a lot of covers, which I honestly did not know until I was looking into it.
The song, I didn't have too much else to say about the song. I just really I loved the song. It's really good. I should have put it higher on my list, but I kept it at number 10. So that's my number 10, Love Me.
Yeah, and I was just going to put a disclaimer for this episode. We did not listen to every single Elvis song.
No, he has like 50 some like...
He has so much music, and like not even all of it is on Spotify. Some of it's kind of hard to find. So we listened to a lot, but not all.
I went through like I think 5 or 6 of his most popular, like what people say are his best albums, and then I kind of just went through like the popular songs.
I went through a bunch of greatest hits playlists, so it's just super long playlists with a bunch of his like hits, basically. But yeah.
All right, so number 9 for the Spotify is Blue Suede Shoes with 71 million plays.
All right.
What is your number 9?
My number 9 is Are You Lonesome Tonight? So this song is kind of about, he's like asking his ex if she's alone and miserable and thinking about the good times they had. The song was written actually in 1926 by Tin Pan Alley songwriters, Roy Turk and Lou Handman. And it was a hit in 1927 for like a bunch of different artists. But obviously Elvis, it's interesting because he was like known as like a really like revolutionary like rock and roll star, but around this time he started recording like oldies. So he has a lot more like a softer tone to it, which he has a lot of those more ballad songs.
Yeah. That's the ones that are
It's interesting to think like he went from like rock and roll to like that kind of ballad.
Yeah, the difference between like Hound Dog and like Love Me or like a song like this.
Yeah, it's completely different, and it would have been crazy to like see him transition. You'd be like, what is he doing? But yeah, the song is just such a sweet, innocent sound to it. It sounds like an old song. And his vocals are so smooth and expressive. I just think it's a really beautiful song, and that's a lot of his ballads are just like so beautiful. It's crazy. But that's Are You Lonesome Tonight for my number 9.
My number 9 is Always on My Mind, off of the Elvis Fool album, 1973. It came out. The song is it's a ballad song that was written by Wayne Carson, Johnny Christopher, and Mark James, and it's a crossover hit, both charting in country and western and pop categories. So people have probably heard the song before. It's probably one of his more popular.
I feel like that's what every single Elvis song. You're like, well, you don't know the title, but you probably heard it.
Yeah. So it's the song itself. He apparently recorded it a few weeks after his he separation from his wife Priscilla. So it's actually kind of interesting, like the song and like the contents of when he like recorded it, and it received immense fame, and it was critically considered one of his best standout songs in the 1970s. I love this song. It's another ballad it's also just a gorgeous song to listen through, and so yeah, that's my number 9, Always on My Mind.
All right, on to number 8.
Number 8 is Always on My Mind.
Oh, really?
It's tied with 72 million or 71 million, tied with the 8 and 9 are the same. All right, what is your number 8?
My number 8 is Don't Be Cruel. So this was released as the single with the Hound Dog, so it was like the B-side of Hound Dog, and it's the only single in history to have both sides reach number 1 in the U.S., which is insane.
That's crazy.
So this was originally written by Otis Blackwell. It has more of like a classic rockabilly sound.
It's like a great mix. I'll talk about it.
Yeah, I really like this song. I had never heard
list.
this song before. Like, this is a brand new discovery for me.
I don't know why. I know it's not like super popular too. So like.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he has so many songs that some of them just kind of get lost. Yeah, and he's got that like really signature vocal inflection in this one that defined his early sound. It's like very choppy and almost has like a little bit of a drawl to it, which I love. But yeah, it's just really catchy and simple, but it's really pops. Like, I think this is one of his more like standout songs to me in terms of sound. Yeah. But that is Don't Be Cruel for my number 8.
All right, my number 8 is Blue Suede Shoes. Came out in 1956. It's on his Elvis Presley album on Spotify. It was written and first recorded by Carl Perkins in 1955, and it's considered one of the first rockabilly records, having elements of blues, country, and pop of that time. It was Elvis recorded the cover because the Carl Perkins wanted his song to get more popular.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's essentially what happened with Blue Suede Shoes. And according to Moore, who was basically one of the guitarists for Elvis at the time, he said when we record, we just went in there and started playing, just winged it, and just followed however Elvis felt, and that's how they kind of recorded the song.
That's insane. Yeah. I can't imagine just like randomly doing that off the cuff.
Because this song too, I just found it interesting that because they shared I think they shared radio contracts with the song, so it's a very interesting way to promote a song, and they kind of changed it a little bit, but it was pretty interesting. But the shoe itself, Blue Suede Shoes, is fantastic. That rockabilly, early rockabilly,
yeah, for sure.
Definitely a great example of it saying one of the first probably recorded. But it's an awesome song. It's catchy. It's that up-paced rockabilly.
I feel like everyone knows that song. It's very popular.
That is my number 8, Blue Suede Shoes.
All right, on to number 7.
Number 7 is In the Ghetto, with 97 million plays.
My number 7 is Bridge Over Troubled Water. So this was originally written by Paul Simon and performed by Simon and Garfunkel in 1970. And it's on his 1970 album, That's the Way It Is. But I feel like, so I didn't know which one came first when I looked it up, because they're both really popular versions. But I think I like the Elvis version a lot better. I feel like he just took the song and completely made it his own song, which he does for a lot.
He does a lot, covers. Yeah. That's like, he makes it his own. He like takes a lot, like covers a lot of music, but he definitely makes it Elvis.
Yeah, so, it's like very distinct. Yeah, but it's just really like very powerful, and he brings a lot of emotion to it. I feel like you can just like feel it when he's singing this song. It's a really beautiful song. But that is Bridge Over Troubled Water for my number 7.
My number 7 is Suspicious Minds. From 1969. It's from Elvis in Memphis. You didn't have the song, did you? No.
Not yet.
No. Okay.
Not yet.
Sorry, I was thinking.
Okay.
So it peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was written and first recorded by American songwriter Mark James. After his recording failed commercially, it was cut by Elvis with producer Chips Moman, what a name, by the way.
That
Chips
is a name.
Moman, becoming the number 1 song in 1969 and one of the most memorable of his career hits. It's such a great song. It's like the song is about a mistrusted and dysfunctional relationship and the need of the characters to overcome their issues in order to maintain the relationship. And I think it's a great song. Like it's just another. It's so hard to say like why you like Elvis songs, because it's like they're distinctly Elvis, and if you like Elvis enough, like you like the songs.
It's just such a style, yeah.
But yeah, this is another like beautiful song that's really
I love
good.
The backing vocals on it. It sounds so good.
I'm sure you will talk about it more.
I will.
So that's my number 7, Suspicious Minds.
All right, on to number 6.
Number 6 is on Spotify, so it's a little less conversation. With 119 million plays, but technically it was the remix version of it, but it still was the Elvis. It was because what show did they use that? It was a CSI Las Vegas. I think they used that in the intro.
Oh,
no,
really?
There was a show they used that song. Maybe it was just the Vegas song. But I think that was the version that's more popular on Spotify because it just has a faster upbeat back into it. Was it just so Vegas? I don't remember. Somebody's screaming right now, knowing the show. I'm thinking of. But you know the song, right?
I know the song. Yeah. I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I don't.
This conversation.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it.
Well, that's number 6 on the audience list. What is your number 6?
My number 6 is "And the Grass Won't Pay No Mind." So this song is originally written by Neil Diamond, and it was released in Elvis Presley's Back in Memphis LP in 1969. And this song is very similar to like Bridge Over Troubled Water, where it's like a more serious song, and it's a very like a softer tone, and it has a really gentle and beautiful sound, and then all of a sudden like it gets really intense with his vocals like at this one part, and I love that part. It sounds so good. It almost comes like desperate because it's like a love song. Sure. And yeah, I love that moment in the song, and I feel like this song I think is on like greatest hits that I've listened to like a million times. So it's so like nostalgic for me because that's awesome. Yeah. Heard it so many times. But yeah, it's a great song. I've never heard the original. If there's an original recording of it, I'm not sure. I'm sure Neil Diamond recorded it at some point, but that is "And the Grass Won't Pay No Mind" for my number 6. My number 6 is "Hound Dog," off of Elvis's Golden Records, 1956. Came out. Everyone knows the song. This is, I think, probably one of his most popular songs. Yeah. I like the song in the way where it's like, I think, one of his most catchy songs. I was going to put it a little down on my list, but I kept it at number 6. I was going to switch out "Love Me" and put this number 10, but it's a great song by itself. Even though it sounds, I think, very simple, but it's very catchy, very fast-paced. I love the fast-pacedness of like that style of Elvis song. Like, it's great. I think that was the first Elvis song I've ever heard.
Well, grass is getting cut.
The grass will pay mine, though, but we can't hear.
Yeah, it's just it's a great song, though. It originally was recorded by, apparently in 1952, so it's another cover.
Yeah.
Did
he have an original song?
Did he have an original song? That is the question. I have not come across one.
He had some. Well, not that he wrote, but I think there were songs specifically written for him.
So apparently, by the spring of 1956, when the song came out, he was fast becoming a national phenomenon.
Yeah.
Especially with the teenagers coming to his concert, and in unprecedented numbers. And apparently, to a reaction to Hound Dog was causing riots at some performances.
Yeah.
He
was moving them hips.
The song Hound Dog is has been described as the emblem of rock and roll, of the rock and roll revolution. So
yeah, I feel like he just embodied the spirit of rock and roll.
And I think that's why no matter how you think of the song itself, it's such a historical song and just all music.
Not that none of the music we know now would exist, but I feel like a lot of it would be very different without that song, and just like Elvis in general.
For sure.
Crazy.
So that is my number 6. Those are at number 6, Hound Dog.
All right, on to number 5.
On to number 5. So 5 for the audience is Burning Love with 138 million plays.
Oh, that's my number 5.
Oh, look at that.
Also Burning Love. So this was Elvis's biggest hit single stateside since Suspicious Minds in 1969, and it was his last top 10 hit in the American charts. It's interesting looking at his career. He had spouts. He's one of the most famous musicians of all time. At least now, he's very legendary. But during his career, he had spouts where he would just not be very popular at all, or wouldn't be coming out with any popular music. So it's kind of interesting seeing where he would have these random little comebacks. But this came out in 1972, and it was originally recorded by a country soul artist named Arthur Alexander earlier in that same year. But I just love the build of this song. It just really builds, and it's such a a more fast pace, but it still has it's not as rockabilly, I would say, as his earlier stuff. And all the backing vocals and the great melody, it just has a lot of life to it. This song, it's so good. But that's Burning Love for my number 5.
My number 5 is Jailhouse Rock, which song you already talked about quite a bit. It peaked at number 1 on Billboard Hot 100. I don't know if you said that. You probably did.
Probably. I feel like all his songs peaked at number 1.
Yeah, well, not all of them actually. But
he had some that were not, but
well, not a lot of them did. Yeah, like you said though, it's such a great it's another great fast-paced, just rock and roll song, a traditional rock and roll song. Fun fact about this, actually, something you didn't say. Some of the characters in the song are based off real people.
Oh,
really? Shifty Harry was a well-known LA musician, not a criminal. The Purple Gang was a real mob or real gang out of Detroit or something. Sad Sack was a U.S. Army nickname in World War II for a loser, which was also the name of a popular comic strip book and comic book character at the time.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so
some pop culture references in there.
I thought you'd have this song on your list, so I was I'm going to try to find some fun facts about it. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's an interesting song, and like you said, the movie, I've never seen the movie, and maybe someday I'll watch it.
And it was in Blues Brothers.
Yes.
It's great in Blues Brothers.
I know, right? So that's my number 5, Jailhouse Rock.
All right, on to number 4.
Number 4 for the audience is Hound Dog with 151 million plays.
All right.
What is your number 4?
My number 4 is Suspicious Minds. So you talked about this a little bit. So it was written by Mark James, and apparently, he also wrote Hooked on a Feeling. Which is, I didn't know that, but...
I could see that, though.
Yeah, it has a similar feel. But, this was, again, a really big comeback song for Elvis. He hadn't had a U.S. hit since 1962 when this came out, and this came out in 69. But he apparently recorded this from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning. He would do that a lot, where he would just record all night at all these weird times. I was that's insane. But yeah, I feel like the vocal delivery is very hard-hitting on this one. And I feel like it's somehow very sad and gripping, whilst also being uplifting and exciting. Yep. It's just such a profound song. I don't know. It just has this sound that I feel no other person can emulate. But that's Suspicious Minds for my number 4.
Well, my number 4 is a song you just talked about, Burning Love.
There you go.
1973. It peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, so it didn't get number 1. Kind of crazy, actually. Yeah, you said quite a bit about the song. It's such a classic. Like, this is essential Elvis. Like, I think when you think of like 5 songs like this, I think would be one of his essential songs.
100%, yeah.
I think that's what, and it's a great song. Like how you said just the build of the whole song and like his voice.
Like this rolling, like, I don't even know what that. It's like strings, basically. Yeah. It's,
and his voice through it too is like it's like not like it's like you said, it's not like completely like his early stuff, but it's like you can hear a little bit of it.
It's reminiscent of it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's awesome. Yeah, I love this song. Just classic Elvis. That's what I wrote down. So that's my number 4, Burning Love.
All right.
On to number 3. Number 3 is Jailhouse Rock for the audience. 253 million plays. Or downloads, I should say. What is your number 3?
My number 3 is In the Ghetto. I love this song. It's so good. It's basically about poverty, and it kind of describes like a child who can't overcome his surroundings and turns to crime, which leads to his death. And it was kind of the first Elvis song recorded with like a socially conscious message, because usually it's just like a love song and stuff. And he was really reluctant to do this song because of that reason, but he also kind of knew, just like hearing the song, that it'd be a really big hit. So it was originally written by Mac Davis, and it's off of Elvis's In Memphis album from 1969.
Gotcha.
Which is when a lot of his like more famous songs were recorded in that session. But it's just really great storytelling and like emotional delivery, and the way the song builds makes you want to like not turn it off. It's just like really compelling because you want to like hear how the story ends, and it's amazing. I love this song. But that's In the Ghetto for my number 3.
So my number 3 is a Christmas song.
Oh no.
It is Blue Christmas.
I'm out. I'm leaving.
Came out in 1957. It peaked at number 33 on the Billboard Hot 100. It's written by Billy Hayes and Jay Johnson. Yeah. The song was first recorded in 1948 by Doy Odell. What a name. It's D-O-Y-E.
Doy?
Yeah. Doy Odell. And then it featured the Jordanaires and Millie Kirkham on background vocals. So like the song was out for like almost 10 years already, and then he covered it. I think it's probably like his most iconic. He did a lot of Christmas songs.
He did.
Just like every artist back in like the 50s and 60s all had, like, you know, if you look at all the artists did Christmas songs, but I think this is probably his most iconic one. So I think it's the most kind of like, it's obviously not original, but it's his. Yeah. Like no one else has like
could like
it's not okay. So how I say
style.
It's not like, and it's not like a it's not like Jingle Bells. It's not like a song that's been around forever.
Yeah.
It's like a unique Christmas song, which is, I think, hard to kind of find. And even though he didn't write it or originally recorded it, it's his song, like you said, for sure. But yeah, it's I know a lot of people don't. I know you don't like this song that much.
No, I like that song.
Oh, do you?
I just don't. I just like can't think about Christmas in the summertime. I just can't do it.
That's fair.
Like, I didn't even consider listening to his Christmas music because it's June.
That's fair though. Yeah. That's fair. Apparently it was recorded in 57, but wasn't released as a single to 64.
Oh.
So that's kind of crazy. Holding it. But now it's a staple. It's a staple Christmas song.
It is a classic Christmas song.
And I love this song. I've like always loved this song. Like even like this was probably before listening. If I just would pick my favorite Elvis song, it would probably be this one. Yeah. But so that is my number 3, Blue Christmas.
All right.
On to number 2. For the Spotify downloads is Suspicious Minds with 242 million.
All right.
What is your number 2?
My number 2 is Love Me Tender. So this was released for a movie of the same name in 1956. It rose to number 1 in the charts 2 weeks before the movie came out and stayed on top for 5 weeks. And it became one of Elvis's best-known songs. I already talked about this song a lot in the Love Songs episode, so if you want to check that out. But yeah, I love this song. It's so simple, and I think that's what makes it so good, because he can take a simple song and make it just incredible and beautiful. And I feel like this song too is kind of a, like, everyone knows this song. Like, if you think of a song like an Elvis song, it's one of this songs. So yeah, that's "Love Me Tender" for my number 2.
Well, my number 2 was also featured in our love song episode, it's "Can't Help Falling in Love." I think that was my number 1.
Yeah.
There, so it's my number 2 here. It's off of Elvis's "Blue Hawaii," 1961. It came out. It peaked at number 2 in the Billboard Hot 100. Yeah, I talked about this pretty extensively during that episode, because I believe this was my number 1. But I love, it's a tender ballad about being unable to resist falling in love, essentially, and it's such a great song. It's a simple song because it's very short in aspects of it's very short.
All his songs are so short.
This one, yeah, this one's like pretty short, and it's just such a simple song, but it's just great. It speaks to how great I think the lyrics are absolutely fantastic of this. I think it's very well written for how short it is. It made it just fantastic, and and simply it's been covered a billion times since then. I mean, a lot of his music has, but I think that also speaks to
very timeless.
The greatness of the song, of what this song is. So that is my number 2, "Can't Help Falling in Love."
All right, should we do some honorable mentions?
We should.
So my honorable mentions are "Can't Help Falling in Love," "Heartbreak Hotel," "Hound Dog," "Hard-Headed Woman," and what was the other one? "Too Much."
My honorable mentions are "In the Ghetto," "Crying in the Chapel," "Silver Bells," another Christmas song.
Oh my god.
And Heartbreak Hotel, and "All Shook Up."
Yeah, I also really like "Fever." That's in my honorable mentions too. I love that song, but it didn't make my list.
So number 1 for the audience. Do you have a guess?
I have no idea, because I feel like we've gone through a lot of his most famous.
It's a song I literally just had. "Can't Help Falling in Love."
Oh, there you
with
go.
432 million plays.
Honestly, I never remember what the other songs were in the list when we go through the Spotify. So.
I don't know what your number 1 is.
My number 1 is "It's Now or Never."
Okay.
I love this song. So it was released as a single in 1960. It's one of the best-selling singles of all time, and it reached number 1 in the charts, obviously, like most of his songs.
Yep.
But it's really interesting. So it's kind of based off of an old Italian melody, the song called "O Sole Mio." Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, probably not. But it was first recorded by
Yikes.
somebody in Italy. It's Giuseppe and Salimi in 1907. So it's like a really old, traditional Italian song that he took the chord progression and the melody from and made his own song. And it was popularized by Mario Lanza, and then it was released by a whole bunch of different people through the 50s and 40s. And but when Elvis was in the U.S. Army, he was stationed in Germany and heard this song, "O Sole Mio." And when he was discharged, he asked his recording company to write an English translation for him, which ended up being this song. And it's interesting because he's singing, obviously he's the rock and roll king, but he's singing a very traditional melody that sounds something like Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin would sing. And it's interesting, so in 1957, apparently before the song came out, Frank Sinatra said, when he goes into a more serious song, a bigger kind of singing, we'll see if he's actually a singer. Which I think he definitely proved that he is a singer. Because, he had a very stylistic singing before this. But such a beautiful, heartfelt song. It has so much emotion in it, and it sounds different, I think, than a lot of his other ballads.
Yeah,
it stands out to me within his ballads. But that's "It's Now or Never" for my number 1.
All right, my number 1 is one you already talked about.
Oh, what is it?
It's "Don't Be Cruel."
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yep. 1956. You talked about this quite a bit. A couple things I don't think you did say. It was inducted to the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2002. In 2004, when Rolling Stones came out there with their first top 500 greatest songs, it was listed at 197. The song is currently ranked right now 173rd greatest song of all time, as well as being the 6th best song in 1956 by acclaimed music. So I just throw a little stats out there. I love this song. So this song is the perfect combination of Elvis's early Elvis and late Elvis, where I think so anyways. That's why I like this song so much. But it's not super popular. It's not that popular. And
no,
I don't know. We kind of talked about that, but I don't know. I don't even know when I first heard this song, but I've known this song for a while.
I have literally never heard this song until we did this episode.
I think it's such a, it's such a great example of how like talented vocally he was to be able to do like the two different kind of styles in like one song, the very rockabilly like stylistic version of Elvis, or the very late like 70s version of Elvis, and he did it in this song both, but came out in 56. So absolutely this is my favorite Elvis song for sure. So it's my number one, Don't Be Cruel.
That's the number one best Elvis song. You heard it here first.
The number one best Elvis song. So what were you thought after listening?
I was gonna go through
we should go through, let you guys know what we
so my number 10 was Jailhouse Rock. My number 9 was Are You Lonesome Tonight. My number 8 was Don't Be Cruel. My number 7 was Bridge Over Troubled Water. My number 6 was And the Grass Won't Pay No Mind. I don't really know what that means, but like, what does that mean? Number 5 is Burning Love. Number 4 is Suspicious Minds. Number 3 is In the Ghetto. Number 2 is Love Me Tender. And number 1 is It's Now or Never.
Alright, my number 10 was Love Me. Number 9 was Always on My Mind. Number 8 was Blue Suede Shoes. Number 7 was Suspicious Minds. Number 6 was Hound Dog. Number 5 was Jailhouse Rock. Number 4 was Burning Love. Number 3 was Blue Christmas. Number 2 was Can't Help Falling in Love. And my number 1 was Don't Be Cruel.
Alright, now we can do some afterthoughts, I guess.
If
we have to.
I think after listening to it, I liked a lot more songs than I thought I was going to.
Yeah. Personally, for me, I feel like I like every Elvis song. And I don't know why. I don't know what it is about him. He just has this, like, charisma or something that... He has a lot of personality in his songs. And I feel like that really shows through.
Mm-hmm. It's very unique. Like, it's very uniquely, like, Elvis. Like, no one will ever sound like Elvis, like...
Absolutely.
Directly again. Like, he was very unique, and no one's ever... kind of made that same sound and had the same kind of music ever since.
And has the same impact. Like, he was just one musician, and he made this completely crazy impact on music history and just, like, popular culture and culture in general. It's insane. And I think his, like, genre bending is really
that's
crazy,
my biggest takeaway.
He started in, like, his background is in gospel music, and that's, a lot of where his vocals came from, and then obviously he went into rockabilly and rock and roll and blues and all these different things, and I think that's really incredible to, like, evolve your style so much, but still sound so much like you and, like, a distinct personality.
Well, yeah, I completely agree. That's a great way to wrap that up. So, thank you guys for listening to our number 50 episode.
Yes.
Wild.
Insane.
You can follow us along on Twitter and Instagram at Songs Untold. We will be putting our songs on the podcast playlist on Spotify. New Old Songs Untold podcast playlist. No, what is it called?
Yeah, New Old and Songs Untold podcast playlist. This is it took only 50 episodes for Nick to remember what that playlist is called.
It was always a tongue twister to me. I don't know why.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So yeah, you can. There's obviously always a link to the podcast in the episode description. Easier to find. We're gonna the playlist. Yeah. Sorry, the playlist. We'll try to get out a few more episodes a month here.
We have a lot of exciting episodes coming up. I think our next episode is going to be top 10 summer songs, which will be really fun.
I kind of went through, started making my list today.
There are so many.
Man, that's going to be a part 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a bunch.
Yeah.
So
lots of summers,
Hopefully, yes. Well, thank you guys for listening, and have a great rest of your week.